Why in the world would getting jacked be your moral duty? The claim in the title of this video probably sounds bold to you. It probably sounds like a bit of a stretch. We live in a society nowadays where going to the gym is just optional. Being in shape is just something you do. It's like a hobby. That's the kind of society we live in. Why would I make the claim that getting jacked, like really strong, not just like in shape, not just like fit, not just skinny, but jacked, why would I make the claim that that is your moral duty? I'm going to explain that in this video. I think this is a serious topic. You need to stop, don't scroll down to the comments, don't like peruse other videos. I need you to listen. I'm going to try and make this video short, but this is a very serious topic that you need to get through your head, okay? Why is it your moral duty to get jacked? There are two reasons why getting jacked is your moral duty, and you have to if you want to be a self-respecting human being. That is self-mastery and protecting the ones you love. Self-mastery is required for self-respect. That's why self-mastery is important. Now, why is that? Self-mastery is important because it helps you to control your emotions. If you master yourself, by self-mastery, by the way, I specifically mean winning the battles in your head over and over to make yourself do hard things even when you don't feel like it. So self-mastery is important because self-mastery essentially lets you override your emotions. It lets you use discipline, train up discipline. When you master something, whether that be fighting or getting jacked or something like that, it requires you to override just your emotions and your feelings in order to become very proficient in that thing, to essentially master specifically your body. This is very important. In order to get that kind of brain, the self-mastery of the brain, paradoxically, it has to come from self-mastery of the body. That is through fighting or through getting jacked. By the way, this video is interchangeable with fighting, by the way. Getting jacked and fighting, essentially, is interchangeable. A man without self-mastery, a man that's controlled by his emotions, cannot be respected or trusted. This is because, essentially, he's not really in control of himself. Essentially, all of his actions, if he can't override his emotions and he doesn't have self-mastery, all of his actions can be changed just depending on how he feels in his emotions. If his emotions are triggered in the right way, he'll act differently. He'll act against his values. It's honestly, it's pathetic. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I'm not. I'm still on the journey of mastering myself. But intuitively, you know this. If you don't have self-mastery, how can you be trusted? Would you trust someone that did whatever he felt like? Would you really? No. It's very important that you have self-mastery, so when the urges to do something that are wrong, that you know are wrong, come along, you can listen to your conscience instead and do the right thing, even when you don't want to. That's why self-mastery is so important. That's reason one as to why it is your moral duty to get jacked. Most people don't have that, by the way. You want to know the truth. Most people, even the people that appear respectable, don't have self-mastery, and they would change up instantly if they felt like it. If their emotions like nudged them in the other direction, they would change up instantly. This is why it's almost impossible to trust the people around you, which is it's a very pessimistic way to view the world, but it's true. You have to be careful with who you trust, because other people can be controlled by just essentially their whims very, very easily. And self-mastery it's very rare. The second reason it's your moral duty to get jacked is to protect the ones that you love in your life. This is a bit of a darker one, but there was recently a video of a young girl getting killed on the subway. She was just coming home from work. She was like a refugee from Ukraine. I'm sorry, but the name escapes me. And she was essentially trying to find a better life in the United States. She was getting off of work, walked into the subway and sat down, and the man behind her, out of nowhere, essentially, just stabbed her. The man had several accounts of violent crime in the past and had been let go and whatever. And the girl bled out from her chest into her lap until she died. She didn't even understand what was happening by the time she just died on the subway due to an unprovoked attack. This was like a few days ago. This evoked a paternal reaction in me, like a fatherly, like angry, protective reaction in me that I had never felt before in my life. I'd never felt anything like that before, probably because I was just too young and I never witnessed that kind of thing. And I suppose now I'm at the age where I experienced that for the first time. It's almost like she was like my daughter, and I didn't know her at all. But just hearing about that was incredibly, like, horrifying to me. We live in very dangerous, dark times. Imagine you're on the street with your child, your young son or your daughter, 5 to 10 years old, and you get attacked just out of nowhere. A group of people comes up. You need to be able to defend yourself and defend the one you love with you. Imagine if you're a fat piece of shit, or if you're a skinny little weak piece of shit, if you're a victim weight piece of shit. Imagine this. This is a thought experiment. I need you to do this right now. You're on the street, okay? Your future son or daughter is with you, or maybe your wife. The one you think you would love the most in the future, probably your child. They're with you, okay? You're walking along the street, having a good time, enjoying their company. Then you get approached by a group of people, a group of men. Now, if you're a little victim weight piece of shit, and you got complacent and comfortable, they're gonna knock you out. They're going to attack you, knock you out. You're going to wake up, and your son, or your daughter, or your wife is going to be dead. Imagine if that happens. And I know this is very dark, by the way. I'm sorry, but this is the truth, because this is a very real possibility. This happens very often. Places, especially cities, are very dangerous nowadays. This happens all the time. People get attacked all the time, killed over pointless things. Imagine what happens. Imagine how you would feel if you simply slacked in the gym because you thought you didn't have time during the day, work was hard, and so you stopped going to the gym. You didn't ever train fighting because you didn't think it was important enough. And then one day, you get attacked, knocked out cold, and you wake up and they're just dead on the sidewalk. How are you gonna feel? Ask yourself that, imagine that. Seriously, I know this is very dark stuff, but this is the truth. Do you see now why it is your moral duty to get jacked and to learn how to defend yourself, to become a strong man? All of this stuff is so frequently viewed as a hobby, as something you just like enjoy doing. It doesn't hold any importance in today's culture. Like, how much importance does the gym hold in today's culture? It's really, 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 really easy to forget the value behind it. We see all these YouTubers that do their little gym vlogs and they put on their Young LA or Gymshark clothes. And I'm that too. Like, I like that part of it too. But it's so easy to reduce this to a childish thing and forget that it's literally our moral duty to get strong so that we can protect the ones we love, so that we can master ourselves, so we don't self-mastery as well as in the same boat. What if you just get scared and you run off and you can't protect your girlfriend or your wife? What if they just scare you off and you run away because you haven't mastered your emotions, because you're not emotionally strong, and so your emotions have essentially overridden your logic brain, your strong brain, your man brain, and you run. When you confront this, everyone weak and complacent suddenly doesn't seem so innocent anymore, do they? All of the people that are suffering so much because they just can't quite seem to get on a good diet, or they just can't quite seem to find time for the gym. You know how many times I've heard that when I've spoken to people? Oh, I used to do the gym and now I don't. I just... Work's been hard, you know, when you work as much as I do, you just don't have time, and I get home and I'm tired and I don't want to... You know, I had kids and now kids are so hard, I just can't quite seem to find time for the gym. You poor little thing. Doesn't that make you feel disgusting? Doesn't that make you feel disgusting? They're sacrificing the ability to protect the ones they love because they would rather spend an hour and a half of screen time, because they always have time, than going to the gym. Essentially, they enjoy comfortable lives. They enjoy comfortable things. And so in the future, when tragedy strikes, and it very well might, it won't for everyone, but it very well might for you. If you're watching this, by the way, you should not assume that this will not one day happen to you. I guarantee there is a percentage of viewers, it's probably you, by the way, you're probably the 1 in 4 viewers or something like this where you're gonna get attacked. And if you're not in shape, if you're not jacked by that time, if you don't know fighting, if you don't know striking or grappling or any of this shit, then you will probably lose a loved one or maybe lose your life. And if you're any man of, like, I don't know, any man like worth that's not slime, you'll hope to yourself that in that case you'll lose your life and not the life of a loved one. Like, if you're not a pathetic piece of shit. If you're a little bit self-sacrificing, you'll be like, okay, well, I hope at least it's my life that goes, instead of the person I love. It is your moral duty to get jacked and to be able to defend yourself. It is your moral duty as a man to get jacked and to be able to defend yourself. If not, you are essentially putting the lives of your loved ones in danger. It's not always that way, but in times like this, that's just the truth. And you cannot ignore the reality of the situation. So, to conclude this video, ask yourself if you are any sort of self-respecting human being, if you have any sort of moral backbone, and if you're not a little bitch and a piece of shit. And if the answer is, I'm not those things, then you will admit to yourself that it is your moral duty to get jacked and to learn how to defend yourself. Not for yourself, not for any selfish reason. It is your moral duty to do it for those around you, for the ones you love. It is not something great that you can achieve. It's not some like little bonus, like, no, it's every person should be this way. It's so easy to view being jacked and all this to be like some like super impressive thing. Even if like they're just vaguely in shape, they have like a little bit of muscle mass, they're vaguely like sort of lean, or they took like a little bit of fighting classes. Like, it's so easy to look at that as like this, like, whoa, that's so impressive. It's not that impressive. That's the baseline. we shouldn't be proud of ourselves when we do the baseline, the basic shit. I mean, in this society, yes, you should, because so many people are below that. So many people are literally unable to defend themselves, like unable to defend themselves. You could scare them easily into doing whatever the fuck you wanted, but physically they also couldn't defend themselves, and that's very sad. While I'm proud of the physique that I've built and what I'm accomplishing, I really just see it as the baseline, as what I feel that morally I have to do if I want to be any sort of man of strong character. And it's changed my life immensely. Mostly the self-mastery stuff. The self-mastery stuff has really genuinely changed the course of my life, and I truly believe in the future it has changed the experience that my children will have, their upbringing, the character I'll be able to instill in them, hopefully, and in the future, I think it's changed the trajectory of how I'll be able to protect my loved ones. I think it's helped, it's benefited not only me, but I do believe it's benefited my immediate family right now, as well as my future family. Don't even do it for selfish reasons. And there's a lot of selfish reasons to get jacked. There genuinely is. The number one is girls and relationships, so you can finally have like a dating life. That's the number one benefit of getting jacked. But don't even do it for selfish reasons. It's just your moral duty to get jacked. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you got any value from this video, there's something you can do, which is a win-win for both of us, which is to scroll down and click the subscribe button. I win because you get a new subscriber. You win because anytime I have a new insight, learn something new, or try something new, I can make a video and directly give you value. Have an amazing day. Bye.